Chapter 13, Dharma Offering. World-honored one, although I have listened to 100,000 sutras by yourself and Manjushri, I had never heard this scripture of the definitive true characteristic of the inconceivable, autonomous, numinous penetration. According to my understanding of the meaning explained by you, if there are sentient beings who hear this sutra and who devoutly understand, accept and maintain, and read and recite it, they will definitely attain this Dharma and will not doubt it. How much more so if they cultivate according to its explanation. Such people will immediately close off the host of evil destinations and open the gateways of good. They will always be protected and remembered by the Buddhas. They will subjugate the heterodox teachings and demolish the vengeful Maras. They will cultivate Bodhi and reside peacefully in the place of enlightenment. They will walk in the very footsteps that the Tathagata has trod. World-honored one, if there are those who accept and maintain, read and recite, and cultivate this sutra as it has been explained, I and my subordinates will make offerings and serve them. As to the villages, towns, mountain forests, and wildernesses where this sutra is found, I and my subordinates will go to those locations in order to listen to the Dharma. I will cause those who do not yet believe to believe, and those who already believe will be protected. The Buddha said, "Excellent, excellent. Heavenly Emperor, it is as you have spoken. I am happy for you." This sutra extensively explains the inconceivable Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi of the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. Therefore, Heavenly Emperor, if good men and women accept and maintain, read and recite, and make offerings to this sutra, that is tantamount to making offerings to the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. Heavenly Emperor, even if the entire Trimegalochilocosm were filled with Tathagatas, as numerous as the sugar cane, bamboo, reeds, rice, hemp, and forests, and if a good man or woman were to revere, honor, praise, make offerings, and provide all their needs for a kalpa or even less than a kalpa, until after the nirvana of those Tathagatas. After the nirvana of those Tathagatas, if he or she erected a stupa of the 7 treasures above the relics of every one of those Tathagatas' bodies, as long and wide as a single fourfold world and as tall as the Brahma heaven, with each stupa constituting a field ornamented with all manner of flowers, incense, garlands, banners, and musicians, paramount in most subtle wonder. And if that man or woman made offerings to these stupas for a kalpa or less than a kalpa, what do you think, Heavenly Emperor? Would the blessings planted by that person be great or not? Sakradevanam Indra said, "They would be great, world-honored one. One could not fully explain their merit, even in 100,000 kotis of kalpas." The Buddha told the Emperor, "You should understand, the good man or good woman who hears this scripture of the inconceivable emancipation and who devoutly understands, accepts, recites, and practices it, will have blessings even greater than the former person." Why? The enlightenment of all the Buddhas is born from this. The characteristic of Bodhi is immeasurable, and based on this, the blessings are immeasurable. The Buddha told the Heavenly Emperor, "At a time immeasurable asamkhayas of kalpas in the past, there was a Buddha named Medicine King, a Tathagata, Arhat, fully enlightened one endowed with wisdom and conduct, well gone one, knower of the world, supreme master of discipline, teacher of gods and humans, Buddha and world-honored one. His world was called Great Ornamentation. His kalpa was called Ornamentation. That Buddha's lifespan was 20 small kalpas. He had a Shravaka Sangha of 36 kotis of Nayutas of members, and a Bodhisattva Sangha of 12 kotis. Heavenly Emperor, at the time there was a wheel-turning sage king named Jeweled Canopy, who was endowed with the 7 treasures of the Cakravartin and ruled the fourfold world. The king had 1,000 sons who were handsome, courageous, and able to subjugate their enemies. At the time, Jeweled Canopy and his subordinates made offerings to Medicine King Tathagata, providing all that he needed for a full 5 kalpas. After 5 kalpas, he told his 1,000 sons, "You should also make offerings to the Buddha with a profound mind like me." Then the 1,000 sons, accepting their father's order, made offerings to Medicine King Tathagata, and they provided for his needs for another full 5 kalpas. One of those sons, named Moon Canopy, sat alone, thinking, might there be some offering that would exceed even this? Through the Buddha's numinous power, a God's voice was heard from space. "Good man, the offering of the Dharma surpasses all other offerings." Moon Canopy then asked, "What is an offering of the Dharma?" The God said, "You may go ask Medicine King Tathagata. He will give you an extensive explanation of offerings of the Dharma." Prince Moon Canopy immediately proceeded to Medicine King Tathagata and bowed to his feet, then stood to one side and addressed the Buddha. "World-honored one, of all the offerings of the Dharma are superior. What are offerings of the Dharma?" The Buddha Medicine King said, "Good man, offerings of the Dharma are those made to the profound sutras explained by the Buddhas. In all the worlds, these are difficult to believe in, difficult to accept. They are subtle and difficult to see, pure and without defilement. They cannot be attained with only discriminative thinking. They are contained in the storehouse of the Dharma of the Bodhisattvas. They are sealed by the seal of Dharani. They take one to the stage of non-retrogression and to the accomplishment of the 6 perfections. They discriminate the meanings well, and they accord with the Dharma of Bodhi. They are supreme among the host of sutras and induct one into the great sympathy and compassion. They transcend the affairs of the hosts of Maras and the various heterodox views. They accord with the Dharma of causes and conditions. They are without self, without person, without sentient being, without lifespan. They teach the 3 emancipations of emptiness, signlessness, wishlessness, and non-activation. They are able to make sentient beings take their seat in the place of enlightenment and turn the wheel of the Dharma. They are praised by all the gods, dragons, spirits, Gandharvas, and so on. They are able to make sentient beings enter the storehouse of the Buddha Dharma. They accommodate all the types of wisdom of the worthies and sages. They explain the path practiced by the host of bodhisattvas. They rely on the meanings of the true characteristic of the Dharmas. They illuminate the Dharmas of impermanence, suffering, emptiness, no self, and extinction. They are able to save all sentient beings who commit infractions. They can render afraid the Maras, heretics, and those attached to desire. They are praised by all the Buddhas, worthies, and sages. They reject the suffering of samsara and reveal the joy of nirvana. They are explained by all the Buddhas of the 10 directions and 3 periods of time. One who hears such sutras and devoutly understands, accepts and maintains, and reads and recites them, will, with the power of skillful means, explain them clearly and with discriminative understanding for sentient beings. This is because that person will be maintaining and protecting the Dharma. This is called the offering of the Dharma. Furthermore, when one practices as is explained in the Dharma, one will be in accord with the 12 factors of causes and conditions, transcend the heterodox views, and attain forbearance of the birthlessness of dharmas. There is definitely no self and no sentient beings, and within the retributive results of the causes and conditions, there will be in such persons no disagreement, no contention, and the transcendence of all the qualities of self. They will rely on meanings, not on words. They will rely on wisdom, not on knowledge. They will rely on sutras of comprehensive meaning, and not rely on sutras of incomplete meaning. They will rely on the Dharma, and not rely on a person. They will be in accord with the characteristics of the Dharma, without anywhere that is entered, without any refuge. Ignorance will be thoroughly extinguished, and hence the processes will be thoroughly extinguished. Thus, birth will be thoroughly extinguished, and hence old age and death will be thoroughly extinguished. If one performs such contemplation, the 12 factors of causes and conditions will be without the characteristic of being exhausted. One will not generate views again. This is called offering of the Supreme Dharma. The Buddha told the Heavenly Emperor, when Prince Moon Canopy heard this Dharma from Medicine King Buddha, he attained the forbearance of compliance. Taking off his jeweled robe and bodily ornaments, he offered them to the Buddha, saying, World-honored one, after your nirvana, I will practice the offering of the Dharma and defend the correct Dharma. Please, use your numinous charisma compassionately, so that I will be able to subjugate the vengeful Maras and cultivate the practices of the Bodhisattva. Knowing the profound thoughts in the prince's mind, Medicine King Buddha made the prediction, at the very end, you will defend the Dharma city. The Buddha told the Heavenly Emperor, Prince Moon Canopy then saw the purity of the Dharma. Hearing the Buddha bestow a prediction of future Buddhahood on him, he developed faith and left home. After cultivating the good Dharma with exertion for not very long, he attained the 5 numinous penetrations and became a bodhisattva. He attained dharani and unending eloquence. After the nirvana of that Buddha, using the power of the numinous penetrations, dharani, and eloquence that he had attained, he disseminated the wheel of the Dharma that Medicine King Buddha had turned for a full 10 short kalpas. Through his diligent practice and exertion in defending the Dharma, in that lifetime Moon Canopy Bhikshu converted 1,000,000 kotis of people who became irreversible in their quest for Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. 14 Nayutas of people generated the profound inspiration to become Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. Immeasurable sentient beings gained birth in the heavens. Heavenly Emperor, was not the Prince Jeweled Canopy of that time an unusual person? As of now, he has attained Buddhahood and is entitled Jewel Mirage Tathagata. Those 1,000 princes became the 1,000 Buddhas of the Bhadrakalpa. The first achieved Buddhahood as Krakuchandra, and the last will be the Tathagata named Ruchi. Moon Canopy Bhikshu was I myself. Thus, Heavenly Emperor, you should understand this essential point. The offering of the Dharma excels all other offerings. It is supreme, incomparable. Therefore, Heavenly Emperor, you should use the offering of the Dharma to make offerings to the Buddha.